Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Just confirm you guys can hear me. Hey, what's going on, Hyper? Good to see you. Yo, what's going on, Sugar HD? Good to see you guys here. It's going to be quite an eventful stream today. Going to go over a lot of the market news, recent attacks that have just happened, why the market bounced, all kinds of stuff. Awesome, Eddie. Appreciate it. What's going on, Nikolai? Mirza, good to see you. Yes. It's going to be a good stream, guys. It's going to be a good stream. Awesome, Sugar. Appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of stuff to go over, guys. A lot of stuff with the war, with where I think we're at right now, if I think it's going to be the bottom, or if I think we're going to drop more. It's going to be a lot. Hey, what's going on, Peace? It says, Brother Love from Pak. Is that Pakistan? I'm assuming that's Pakistan. If so, much love. Jaren says, views on U.S. oil. That's another one we're going to talk about as well. Another one. We're going to talk about all the market. It's going to be a big market overview. Talk about the stock market, oil futures, recent attacks, crypto news, Onchain data, TA for Bitcoin, Ethereum. A lot of stuff, guys. So stay tuned. It's going to be awesome. If you can, like the live stream. It helps a lot. Helps us spread to the masses. Let's get a lot of people in here. Help spread Gym Hunters to the masses, the best crypto group around. So it's going to be a lot of good info here, guys. So definitely make sure you guys are staying tuned. So I'm going to give it another 60 seconds, a little over, and then we'll get started. Zaya, I think that was a buy the news event. That was a buy the news event. The recent Iran attack on the U.S. military base, but we'll get into that. I won't talk too much about that just yet. But yeah, it was definitely a buy the news on that one. Eleftherio says, can you explain what's the EMA and why it's important? EMA is exponential moving average, so it shows an average of the price over an extended period of time. So if you have a 200 EMA on the daily chart, and that's the past 200 days, it takes the average and puts more weight on the most recent price action. So you have the EMA and the SMA. SMA takes a standard average. EMA takes more weight to the later price data. So it's good for just using as support and resistance or predicting trend shifts. And then Ashish, did you long Bitcoin at 99K? I did not long Bitcoin at 99K, but that would have been the perfect long. I'm long from around 102.5, so pretty much where it's at now. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Let's go ahead and start this stream. So hopefully you guys are having a great Monday wherever you're at. I know it's been eventful the past few days, few weeks with this war going on, but we're going to dive into it. But first, let's go over the liquidation data. So the past 24 hours of liquidations are about 425 million. Now, first of all, if you guys aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, I actually posted about this data yesterday and about why it may be the bottom signal. So follow me at the CryptoData. I post a lot of good content and I stay up to date there. So I talked about the 1.09 billion of liquidations that happened yesterday. This historically marks the bottom within 1 to 3 days. We also have the CME gap at 97.2K, which usually does get filled within the first couple weeks. If not, then it'll usually be within a few months afterwards. So if we do have one more flush for whatever reason, look for 97.2K to get filled and then reverse from there. Or we have one at 92K, which could lead to a further flush. I don't think we get that low, but just two levels to keep in mind. Also, USDT dominance has been topping out near this 5.15% mark. So we're going to go over that as well. But that historically is bullish for alts when this gets rejected, because that means stables is going from USDT and USDC into altcoins. So look an eye for this rejection, and we'll go over that chart as well. And then last but not least, we have the liquidation heat map, which we will go over. But all that in saying, this liquidation data is good as well. 427 million, still a good amount. But like I said, it's not that flush that we had yesterday, which in my opinion did mark the local bottom. So going to keep an eye on that. Also, looking at the liquidation data here, so past 24 hours, look at that liquidation that was taken to the downside. Also, if you go to the weekly data, that's going to give us a better eye. So all that liquidity taken to the downside, and then now you can see we're going a little bit higher. There is some at 103.4K, and then also some at around 106.4K. So I am imagining us to go a little bit higher from here, but again, we're going to have to see what happens with the war resolutions. Also, we have, let's go over some big news items as far as crypto news. So there's a lot of crypto news that's happened over the past week. So some of the big news items that I want to go over is one about the crypto stablecoin bill. So this was a big thing because Treasury Secretary Bessent says crypto stablecoins can lower government borrowing costs and reduce national debt. So remember, the crypto stablecoin bill, also known as the Genius Act, was passed in the Senate last week. Now, what that means, it's very, very bullish for Ethereum, because if institutions start transacting with stablecoins via the ERC20 contract, that is on the Ethereum network. Therefore, they're going to have to buy Ethereum and use for gas. Therefore, Ethereum is going to be burnt via the EIP 1559 mechanism that it has, therefore making it deflationary, therefore causing the supply shock and increasing the price, which will cause alt season. So look for this to happen, okay? It's going to be a big catalyst. So the crypto stablecoin bill should probably take effect more so. It still needs to get passed in the House and then go to Trump's desk to sign. Nonetheless, it is very, very quickly on its way. And in my opinion, we'll see this come into effect within a few months afterwards. And that's when you'll really see alt season kick off. Could actually end up being in September, October, and that would be a nice Q4 rally at that point. Also, you have JP Morgan meeting with the SEC Crypto Task Force to discuss the impact of existing capital markets moving to public blockchains. Guys, this is very bullish as well. All these banks, they're getting off of the archaic financial system of wire transfers and all those slow mechanisms that they currently use, and they're now switching over to blockchain because it's censorship resistant, it's transparent, it's immutable, it's fast, it's secure. So many advantages to using blockchain technology versus using the old archaic system of today. So you'll see this adoption continue among all these institutions, all these big banks, and it is going to happen sooner rather than later. Also, some big news in crypto is Coinbase is now allowing stablecoins to be used as collateral. So this is another reason for more adoption of stablecoins and more pressure for the ERC20 and Ethereum network. So something to keep in mind as well. And then obviously you have Trump continuing to promote crypto, saying digital assets are the future. And you also have Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong continuing to be the great ambassador of cryptocurrency and basically saying the world needs crypto now more than ever. So again, great times ahead for that. And then also some big news that happened was you had Bank of America and Bank of China, the Bitcoin's market cap actually overtook their market cap. So as you can see, whenever Bitcoin's market cap continues to pass all of these companies, it helps to increase its legitimacy and it helps to get more eyeballs on it. Because as you know, you can have the best tech in the world, but if there's no mind share, no one is going to see it. And so that's good to see as Bitcoin continues to climb higher in price. And also Michael Saylor, guys, let me know what you think about in the chat real quick. Michael Saylor predicts Bitcoin will reach $21 million in 21 years. What do you guys think the price target's going to be by the end of this year? Okay, do you think it's going to be 120,000, 150,000, 200,000, or higher? Curious what everyone thinks. Comment your price for the end of this year, what you think Bitcoin's going to be at. And then maybe at the end of the year, we'll have a little prize for whoever gets closest. But that is something that's very interesting. And in my opinion, as Bitcoin continues to be more scarce and more institutions and countries and nation states adopt it, we'll continue to see the price higher. Because remember, 6-7 years ago when Bitcoin was at $3,000, no one expected it to be $100,000. Now the average family can't even afford it. Now even the average middle class, upper middle class family can't afford it. That tells you how quickly adoption is happening and how quickly price is happening as well. And then also you had the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve officially signed into law. Guys, this is extremely bullish. So when you have a state as big as Texas adopting an SBR, now you have actual buy pressure coming because the US technically hasn't started buying Bitcoin. They just are holding those seized assets. Therefore, whether they buy Bitcoin via gold certificates, the tariff savings, what have you, now you have more buy pressure. Now you have that FOMO building, okay? There's always bullish news, guys. You just have to ignore the headlines of all this war going on because there is a lot of stuff going on in the background. Now, looking at what people are saying for the price, Peter says 130K, Mystic Eve 140, Nick 135, Bea 130, HD says around 140, but he's aiming for 150 to 200. Eswar 150, Eric 150, Mirza 138, Parallel 125. Okay, so average around 135. 135 is around the average there. Interesting. So we'll look for that. We'll see how close you guys are. Again, if you end up nailing at the end of the year, we may have some prize for you. So we'll have to get that checked out. And then last but not least, you have Metaplanet buying more Bitcoin. These guys are like the MicroStrategy of Japan. They keep buying more Bitcoin no matter what. They've bought now over $1.1 billion worth. And you also have Michael Saylor continuing to buy Bitcoin, $26 million worth earlier. And so guys, if you do not think that these people are not bullish and don't know what's coming, then I don't know what to tell you. They keep buying Bitcoin despite it being over 100K, despite it being making all-time highs, no matter what. So I should tell you how bullish they are on it, as well as other institutions and nation states. Now, let's go over some of the news that's happened with the macro economy. So I don't want to go over everything that's happened between Iran and Israel and the US, but let's just start at some of the latest news that's happened, because obviously Iran's attacked Israel, vice versa. They destroyed some hospitals, destroyed some, some parts of their city, etc. Oil refineries, nuclear facilities, and now the U.S. recently attacked Iran's nuclear facilities via B-2 bombers. And so that happened the other day. 3 B-2 bombers went, struck 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities. Iran says they didn't destroy them. Trump says they did. I think it's something in the middle where they did cause damage to some of the facilities, but it wasn't grave damage. Iran will still build them back. It's just a game of cat and mouse at this point. Now, on top of that, let's go over the recent attack that just happened. So, Iran recently struck some U.S. bases. One of them was in Qatar. It was an Air Force base. You can see here, Qatar shuts down airspace over a possible Iranian strike. And then here, Iran launches ballistic missiles at U.S. military bases in Iraq and launched 6 missiles towards U.S. bases in Qatar. And then you have the U.S. closed the airspace in fear of imminent attack. So the following countries have closed their airspace due to fear of Iranian missile strikes on U.S. bases: Iraq, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain. Okay? So guys, I want to talk about this for a little bit because I want to mention why Bitcoin rose in price and why this was a buy the news event whenever these attacks happened. So whenever you're building up, right? Iran was telegraphing this attack for the past few days. Okay? They said they were going to attack U.S. bases. And so the U.S. knew that. The U.S. took their troops out if there were any troops there. Now, when Iran attacked, everyone knew this attack was going to happen. They attacked these bases, but no U.S. troops were killed, supposedly. So in that response, okay, Iran has shown strength with their citizens, right? Among their citizens, they've shown strength. They've telegraphed strength. And so the U.S. also knew this attack was going to happen, so they saved their troops. And so you have Iran looking strong in front of their citizens. You have the U.S. still looking strong because they got strikes on the nuclear bases. Now that opens the door for a peace deal to be struck, because it's a win-win scenario. When you can have both countries looking strong, that's when you can strike peace deals. The exact same thing happened in 2019 whenever Soleimani was killed by the U.S. Iran struck U.S. embassy bases, but no U.S. troops were killed. They struck a peace deal shortly after. That's why, because people knew what happened in the past, so they were going to buy this news, right? The selling that you saw beforehand was a pricing in of what was going to happen. Guys, you got to be able to think on levels on this. You got to be able to use game theory and think ahead. Whenever these attacks happen, that's when you buy the news, okay? It's counterintuitive, I know, but that's what goes on behind the scenes because everyone was expecting this. Therefore, the selling was happening beforehand. Therefore, when it happened, it's a buy the news event because now it's over, right? Knock on wood. Now they can actually come towards peace talks because both sides have exhibited strength. Both sides look strong in front of their citizens. And now we can actually de-escalate. So we still have to see what happens with Israel and the U.S. as far as what their response is. And obviously if Iran does anything else. But all things considered, we can expect for there to be a de-escalation now, as counterintuitive as that sounds. So let's go and answer a few questions, and I'll continue with going over the S&P, going over some crypto market overview, on-chain data, and Bitcoin and ETH analysis, as well as USDT dominance. Let's see. Jaron says views on U.S. oil. I'll actually go over that in a minute, but I am still tentatively bullish as far as U.S. oil not going any higher. Yeah, Parallax just went over that on why everything was pumping. Cass says Luke. This is John Luke. This is not Luke Belmar, but again, it's an ongoing joke. I love it. HD, is there a video where you go over your specific indicators, the ones you're using on the charts the most? If not, could you show your indicator setup? Yeah, HD, I'll go over that a little bit later in the video. Darian says, what's up, bro? Hope you're doing well. Do you think the market BTC will go down because of the U.S. military being attacked? No, I do not. It was a buy the news event, and I just explained that. So I think we go higher from here. Zaya says, what does buy the news mean? Buy the news means like you're buying, well, like whenever the news happens, you're buying that. You're buying the fear. You're buying the news. So you know how they say buy the rumor, sell the news? Well, this is sell the rumor, buy the news. It's the opposite. So you're buying Bitcoin whenever the news comes out. That's what it means. Kinez says, I got a question. If traditional market got a big gap from the weekend, are they filling the gap and go lower? Sometimes yes, if there's a CME gap, but sometimes no. If the gap doesn't get filled within a week and a half, then usually it'll take a few months. Mahedi says, how did you identify sweat versus run on highs and lows? Just major daily support on the daily support levels, support and resistance levels. So if you want to learn about TA, go to our live section of the Gem Hunters YouTube channel and go to Technical Analysis Basics at the bottom, and you'll see my video, and I go over how to draw SR lines. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Gem Hunters if you aren't. Really appreciate it. Also, make sure you like the live stream if you haven't. I appreciate that. Spreads Gem Hunters to the masses as being the best crypto space for news and other items. Mystic says, do you think that MOG breakout is good to scoop if it retest? Very possible if it's an ETH beta, yeah. Eswar, okay, so what do you think of Wintermute role in liquidations? Like, there is tweet from House of Crypto about that. If you're talking about Wintermute getting liquidated and basically having a cascade of liquidations for a reason why, you know, we've had such a big drop in some coins, I think it's possible, yeah, 100%. But I don't, I think the majority of that is finished, though. Eswar says, okay, so now that Iran has attacked U.S. bases in the Middle East, what's your take on that? Yeah, I still think we're going higher. A lot of good predictions. Jordy says 75K Bitcoin by the end of the year. Jordy, curious of your reasoning for that. Let me know what you're saying on the indicators and what you're seeing price-wise. Very curious on that prediction. Most people were saying around 135K, plus or minus. Eswar says, also, what do you think of alt season? Will it ever start this cycle? I'm done buying the dips. Yeah, right? Who has money left to buy the dips, right? I think alt season will come. Probably in July. We'll start it. Then we'll have some bleeding in August, September. Then we'll continue in October. That's my bet. Eswar, this bull run is honestly reminds me of the meme, I'm tired, boss. Honestly, Eswar, I've had that meme sent so many times. Like, everyone is tired because it's just exhausting, right? Any pump gets sold off into, yeah, it's just 100%. Sugar with the specific prediction of 122.811. Okay, Sugar, we'll keep an eye on that. Ashish, never buy, always perps. Gotcha. Murzo, would love to hear your price prediction for hype for the next leg up. Price, I'll say $50. Smart Research, 150K. Lunar, 1 mil by the end of the year. Ooh, interesting there. Have you ever sat in a B2 bomber? Nick, I have not sat in a B2 bomber, but I have sat in a B52 bomber. So it doesn't look as pretty as the B2 bomber, but it is still a strong superpower, the 7th strongest superpower, to be honest. Or, yeah, to be clear. So it's very, very strong. Eswar says, also have a doubt while longing if both the RSI and stock RSI are oversold, but the candle is in between the S and R. Should we enter this trade? No. If it's in the middle of the range, I would not enter. I would only enter if you have confluence. If it's at support and indicators are oversold. Eswar, any levels for longing Bitcoin, Sol, and ETH? I'll go over that in a minute. Amir says, bro. Lunars, like the video. Hey, appreciate it, Lunars. Appreciate you guys for liking the video and for allowing me to take up some of your time because I know it's valuable, especially on a Monday. USS Nimitz and Vince Carlson, don't forget these names. All right, Amir. Let's see what's going on there. Let's see what's going on. Are those some ships near Yemen right now? Curious on what that's about. Let's see. Well, ETH. Whoops. Let's go and restore the chat and pop it back out. Give me a sec, guys. Okay. Let's see. Will ETH go back to 2,800 soon? Yes, very possible. Very possible if this war strikes a peace deal. If the U.S., Israel, and Iran strike a peace deal. Motive, bro, I got a little gift for you. How can I send it to you? Motive, you shouldn't have, man. You guys don't need to buy me gifts. I really appreciate it, though. Honestly, like, just send me a DM on X. Just send me a DM on X. I appreciate it, guys. At the CryptoData. S4, holy F, BTC at 103K now. That's what I'm talking about, guys. You buy the news. You buy the news of these attacks because it's already priced in. That's the alpha. Parallax, Iran says no negotiations with U.S., though. I think there's more going on behind the scenes than people will see. It's all about posturing and optics. SWAR, since there's no liquidations on the bottom side in the heat map, is there any chance it'll go lower? It's a low likelihood. The only thing we have the CME gap. Besides that, it's a very low likelihood. Mahedi, do you use candle confirmation as support and resistance before entry? If not, why? You could, but sometimes I like to place limit orders and catch the wick because usually there's wicks. There's not confirmation of candle closing above. But you could use that as invalidation, meaning you long the wicks and then you have an invalidation if the candle closes below to get out. Boya says, do you think ETH already hit its bottom around 2.1K with recent balance? Should we expect? Yeah, I think it hit its bottom. Amir, trust me, we will see 69,000 this year. Amir, let me know why. Let me know why, Amir. It's a bold prediction. Let's see. X says, do you think Zeus will go higher? Should we still hold? I think it'll go higher, yes. Obviously, I'm done buying the dip. Hi, what's going on, Ivanch? Amir, you guys haven't seen the dip yet? Amir's speaking some bearishness. I'm curious what the reasoning is. Jordy, because everyone is saying 130K, usually the opposite of the herd happens, but no one knows, obviously. Yeah, no, I mean, I can see that, Jordy. Mirza, does it make sense to enter a trade if it's overbought in the 4 hour but oversold on the 1 day? Not necessarily, but if it gets a little pullback, then yeah, you could. Yo, what's going on, Spiricos? Good to see you. Ed, smart money is selling heavy. They know something's coming soon. Interesting, Ed. Yvonne says, I'm 18. How can I invest in crypto? Ask your parents to get a credit card via an authorized user. Ask them to be an authorized user on their credit card. You can buy crypto with that. Or ask them to buy crypto. Or have a job, get some cash, download the Cash app, and then send that cash to someone so they can send you crypto, someone who you trust. Send it to MetaMask or something. AB says, alt rally in July, I think so. What do you think about FOMO? I'm bullish on FOMO still, on AVAX. I'm still bullish. Not sure if you noticed, but BTC chart looks very similar to November 2021. Also, the weekly RSI is lower when the chart pumps. Very interesting. Abhishek, what's the price of ETH at the end of this month? Probably 2350, 2370. Is this pump fake? I don't think so. Avi says Amir is a full-time bear. Who knows, guys? Who knows, right? I don't want to discount anyone. Bitcoin could still go down. The last time I was cocky, I got humbled very quickly. So anything's on the table. Now, let's go over the S&P 500, and there's a lot more news, so make sure you guys stay tuned. So much more to go over the rest of the stream, guys. Please like it if you haven't. Really appreciate it. S&P right now is getting above 6,000. Very, very bullish. Still an hour and 2.5 hours until it closes, plus or minus. So the S&P is doing very good. Everyone likes potential peace talks in the near future. So bullishness happening right now. Again, it's bounced off of that horizontal resistance turn support. So very bullish on the S&P. Still expecting to go higher here. Gold being that natural hedge against uncertainty, hedge against inflation. It's been chopping a little bit. I'm expecting gold to decline more as these peace talks get underway. And so keep an eye on gold. Nonetheless, it is good to have in your portfolio as far as diversification. Oil is just tanking right now. The reason, because people thought the Strait of Hormuz was going to get closed, therefore affecting 20% of the global oil supply. Now that they've heard that the Strait of Hormuz is not going to get closed, now oil prices are dropping again. You love to see it. Oil between 60 to 70 is always a good time, because when you have oil going back down, then you have lower transportation costs, then you have a lower chance of inflation. So it's bullish all around. Good to see the RSI confirming down as well. And then also the DXY is curving to the downside, rejecting off of that signal line, guys. The DXY, the dollar strength, is usually inversely correlated to Bitcoin. So if the DXY continues to go down, then you have Bitcoin going up. That inverse correlation is still maintained, albeit about 70-75% inversely correlated. But it is looking good so far. So love to see that. Now, let's go over the markets. So currently, Bitcoin is at 103,000. Huge bounce from that war news. Love to see it. Ethereum's up 5% to 2,300. Looking at the top gainers, IP is up 18%. Sonic is up 17% on Coinbase news. Love to see that. Fartcoin is up 15%. Love to see that. Again, guys, SPX up 13%. Focus on strength. Hyperliquid up 10%. Guys, so many times I have said, if you just keep an eye on what's going on and the strong performers, then you will outperform 95% of traders, okay? We've been talking about Hyperliquid, we've been talking about Fartcoin, we've been talking about SPX, and focusing on the strong performers, buying them at major support levels on the daily and weekly. So if you would have done that, you would have been very, very far ahead right now. Again, I don't just say stuff just because I like to hear myself talk. I say it because a lot of it ends up coming to fruition, because I have studied, because I have been in this game for a while, and it is not cockiness, it is just confidence, repetition, consistency compounds. Looking at the on-chain data. So we were negative. Now we're starting to, again, Hyperliquid starting to get positive, more on-chain flows. And then Ethereum is still a little bit better than Solana. So even though there's outflows, you're starting to see those outflows are less than what's on Solana. So still you have that adoption from Ethereum versus Solana. That's good to see. And then Hyperliquid obviously is gaining that attention. So keep an eye on that. And then AVAX, I still think there's still more on-chain flows that are going to happen for AVAX. So keep an eye on that. I'll go over some picks on there. And then right now, Fear and Greed Index is at 37. So the fear is what you want to see whenever you're looking to buy, because everyone is scared. Exactly. Everyone questioned why was there buying whenever the attack happened? Guys, if you're prepared for this, you would have been ready for it. And so make sure you guys are still on the ball, because the more you prepare for this stuff and the more you buy whenever there's fear, the higher likelihood you're going to make money, because no one wants to buy when there's fear. That's why Warren Buffett always says buy when others are fearful and sell when they're greedy. Human emotion never changes. Now looking at the monthly data. So let's go ahead and let's see. Oh, yeah. So Trump posted on True Social, says the nuclear sites in Iran were totally destroyed, blasts fake news for saying otherwise. That's pretty funny. Okay, so going over the monthly data right now. Look how funny it is and how close we are to 2020's monthly returns. Green in January, red in February and March, green in April and May, red in June, and then July. Huge month. One of the most bullish months we've had. So July, guys, keep an eye for the pumps to happen in July. This will get front run. Mark my words. This will get front run. We will pump towards the end of June. That's why we're already seeing this rebound here. The peace deal is just going to solidify it, and then everything is going to send. Guys, look for buying now. Look for any pullbacks. Buying at major support, because then we're going to send afterwards. So keep an eye on that. Potential bleeding August, September, and then October, November, December. A nice little blow off top. Keep an eye on that. Then looking at the flows real quick. So I mentioned the flows. They haven't been as strong, right, the past few days. But let's see how they look today. Let's see if institutions are buying. Something tells me institutions are buying right now. That's why we saw the big bounce. And also, if we do see the buying, that'll confirm sentiment has changed. They did not buy that much on Friday because there was a lot of uncertainty. Now when that uncertainty is starting to come to more clarity, starting to shift to clarity, then you're going to see more institutions buying. So let's see if that happens. Let's see if we are right there. Then looking at Ethereum, Ethereum wasn't doing too good. It had 11 million of outflows on Friday. So what I want to see for Ethereum is for it to gain that flows that it had a couple weeks back, because Ethereum was showing strength. Institutions were buying it. So let's see if that was a fluke, or if they start buying it again and we start seeing that outperformance from Ethereum in the very near future. Now I'll answer a few questions and then we'll actually go over some TA for Bitcoin. Let's see. Okay, let's see what everyone's saying here. Kant Media says, what's the most convincing trade you in right now? Honestly, I mean, if you're just holding hyper liquid on spot, that's pretty convincing trade. Eshwar, do you have an F-15 license? Just curious. I want to. No, so I don't have a pilot's license, but I was in the military. CZN, do we see any dump on this or only pump? I think we're just going to see pump from this. I think that was the lick candle yesterday that everyone was looking for, and I think that was the bottom, honestly, guys. Like, knock on wood, I think that was probably it, and we're going to pump from here because a lot of people are sidelined. Guys, if you will, let me know in the comments. If you are sidelined, just type... Okay, if you're sidelined, just type a 0, and if you're in, then type a 1. Okay? So like if you're sidelined and you didn't buy this bounce and you're not in and you still haven't bought, type a 0. But if you bought when we had that dip, press 1. Because I want to see how many people are sidelined versus how many people are actually in a trade right now. That'll help me see a few things. So if you're sidelined, 0. If you bought, press 1. Mr. Bast, I follow you in the last 1.5 years, but how can I start? I can't not understand. So really just watch some of the videos that we posted about like technical analysis basics, and that will show you a lot of what you like need to learn as far as SR lines. But yeah, for starting crypto, it's just a lot, right? Like you need to follow the right people. You need to follow the Gym Hunters, like the free group. And if you want to join the premium group, we have that as well in the description. 1 ETH for a year. ETH is still cheap, but it's not going to be cheap for long. So buy when there's a discount, in my opinion. But yeah, I would say just go over a lot of YouTube videos. Also, you can help understand by following some good X accounts. And so besides mine at the CryptoData, if you're not following me, definitely give me a follow there. I go over a lot of good stuff. But also into the Cryptoverse. So into Cryptoverse, Benjamin Cohen, definitely follow him. Great account to follow. Very, very smart guy. And then also Virtual Bacon. If you aren't following him, Virtual Bacon is a very, very good news channel as well. So definitely give him a follow. Those are two good people. And then obviously myself at the CryptoData, if you're not following me. But yeah, that would be a good place to start. And so, but yeah, it's just a lot. So if you go over YouTube, how to start crypto for beginners, YouTube also helps. And even ChatGPT can help a lot as well. Eric says, do you think a bottom is in, or do you think we can swing 970K? I think the bottom is in. AB, when are your spot ETFs coming or getting approved? Like ETH, SOL, etc. So ETH ETFs already got approved. If you're talking about the staking ETF, probably the next month or two. The SOL ETF, probably in the next few weeks. Gus, where should we enter Zeus at this point? Zeus, if you can find an entry near 9 or 10 mil, that'd be a good entry. Avi, fart hype and SPX every week. Yes. Sino says, why? Because you studied. Exactly. Yes, X, I'm bullish on hype. Avi says, CryptoData, when are... Whoops. Let's see. Uh-oh. When are we going to CTO meme like Murad? I don't think that's ever happening. Meme coins are just way too stressful to CTO. As for also, what do you think of the global M2 money supply? There's a heated debate on this influence on BTC supply. I think BTC is going to rise because the global money, the M2 supply is going to rise. I think they're correlated. Millionaire gold, please. Yep, just went over gold. Still think it's bullish, but probably going to chop a little bit more. Bro, update on XMR position at 350 in Jim Hunter's group. Oh, that's a good question there. There is some support on XMR near 310. So we're going to have to see if it can... Well, actually, no. There's support near... I want to say it was 280. I'll go over the XMR chart as well in a minute. S4 says, me eyes don't know what to look at. CryptoData stream or X with war news. Hey, you can have them both. Just have two windows open. Harsh, hey, bro, I have a long position in BTC on leverage. I want to hold it for 2 to 3 years. Should I hold this or close and hold in spot? What is your leverage position, Harsh? Is it low, like 2 or 3x, or is it high, like 10x? If it's high, I would change it to low leverage. Comp Media says, if I have 200 on BloFin, how big of perps trade should I be making? At the biggest, I'd probably go $20, only 10%. Okay, let's see. So, looks like the it looks like it's almost an even split. 50% of the people were sidelined, and then 50% of the people were actually buying in a trade. So, interesting there. Interesting. Okay, that still gives us room to go higher. Because if everyone was in a trade, then more likely than not, we'd have another drop. But only half of the people are in a trade and half are sidelined. I think we'd probably go higher from here. Sid says, Brett, analysis, please, and tell me the best entry to buy with low left for long term. Philip says, I sold the dips. Okay, hey, you're not alone, Philip. A lot of people sold the dips. A lot of people got scared. Let's see. Avi, I didn't want to... It bombed along my shorts. Yeah, no, I hear you. A lot of people were sidelined. Let's see. Sino's thoughts on ERC69. So yeah, it's like a proxy to Fartcoin. It's their own little coin there. It could catch on, but in my opinion, it may have just been a narrative that was one and done. We'll have to see. Ed Cooper says, liquidation map is interesting. Seems like market movers chasing 103.4 before going lower. Yeah, it's Ed. It's possible. Someone says Satoshi is AI from the future. There's all kinds of rumors on that. I think, honestly, it's like the NSA or someone. I think it's just a government entity. Harsh says, thanks for the weekly update. Hey, no problem, Harsh. Ishmael, would like to know your thoughts on quant trading. If you're talking about the Quantoshi trading, I still think it's a good bot. I think it's just whenever you have natural volatility like this, it's going to take a while to adjust. C knows, how much do you need to make it with trading like you? I would say at least a livable wage. And so depending where you're at, everyone's different. Conservatively, I would say at a minimum 50K per year. But then really, I mean, if you can make 70 to 80K per year trading, I would say that's a good goal. Motive Sphere, I bought BTC when it was like 55K after the pump hard. I'm still holding. Maybe I can get benefit from that. Maybe my kids can get... Hey, there you go. Yeah. Honestly, Motive Sphere, that was a great entry. Harsh says my BTC long is at 5x. Okay. I think 5x you'd probably be safe. What's your liquidation price, Harsh? I'm curious what your lick price is. As far we need balls to long or short in this war type scenario. Exactly, guys. You gotta be able to, you know, adjust your emotions accordingly. And then Mahedi says, Satoshi studied, bro. Satoshi definitely did study. Absolutely. Okay, let's go over some Bitcoin TA. And again, ooh, look at that Bitcoin pumping. Okay, guys, now we're coming up to the do or die point here. It's at the 50 EMA and it's at the 200 SMA. If we can get higher here, if we can close above it on the daily, extremely bullish for Bitcoin if we can close above this on the daily. So you have the stock RSI oversold, cross to the upside. You have the RSI crossing to the upside now, very close to crossing above its signal line. Here's the level to watch, guys. If we can get above, I would say 103.7K. If we can close at 103.7K or higher, in my opinion, Bitcoin's going to send. So keep that in mind. And then for support, I mean, if we do have another drop, I would say 97 to 99K. Like that 97K is that CME gap that we were talking about. That'd be an amazing level to long if you can. But yeah, 97 to 99K, very, very good level there. But yeah, looking good so far for the long. Now, looking at Ethereum. So, let's go ahead and check out Ethereum. So, Ethereum right now is at 2,300. Very, very good long here. Love to see it. Stock RSI is oversold, but crossing to the upside. Also, the RSI is crossing to the upside as well. So, great to see on that front. looking good there. So my next resistance for Ethereum is going to be 2370. So keep an eye on that. Then also the 50 EMA and 200 EMA around 2470. So big resistance there. But Ethereum's looking good. If you can buy it near 21 to 2200, great support level there. So keep an eye on that. Also, there's talks about, let's see, I know Brett, someone was asking about Brett and then XMR as well. So Brett, right now, if it can close above its 3.8 cent level, that would be a great level. If you're looking to long, then 2.4 cents is a good long level, but a little bit sooner than that. Maybe a little light support here around 3.1 cents. So if you can get into 3.1, that'd be a good long level. The RSI now is close to crossing to the upside with the stock RSI oversold crossing to the upside. So a lot of bullishness, guys. A lot of bullishness here. So keep that in mind. Looks good so far. So definitely good for a long, in my opinion. If we can close above, we're at 3.9 cents. So that's where I'd be watching. But really, if you can get into 3.1, that'd be even better. Also, XMR. Someone was asking about XMR from 350. So 280 is going to be a great level to long for XMR. Right now, it's below this trend line resistance. So if we can close above 320, it's going to be very bullish. It's going to be above the 50 EMA and above this trend line resistance. It's going to be a convincing close. So I would look for that if you're trading XMR. And then I would target 330 and then obviously 360 for the resistance there. Okay, let's see what other people are saying. Harsh says 69K lick price. Okay, 69K lick price. Well, you better watch out, Harsh, because if Amir gets his way, then that dip is going to reach your lick price. So let's see what happens. But yeah, knock on wood, I think you're safe. Sino says thoughts on Ichimoku clouds. I think they're still good. I think they're good to incorporate if you're good at them. Sino says hope it breaks EMA on RSI. Definitely. Cass, I'm new here. How to start for beginners. Cass, what I would do is just look at some YouTube videos or ChatGPT about how to get started in crypto, and then watch our technical analysis basics video for how to learn how to draw support and resistance lines. And so if you go to Gym Hunters, and I'll show you guys real quick. So if you go to the Gym Hunters YouTube channel and you click on the live button. So if you click on live, go to the Gym Hunters YouTube and subscribe if you haven't, guys. Really appreciate it. And like the stream if you haven't. Appreciate everyone who likes it. And thank you for your time for watching. So if you click on the live tab and then go to the technical analysis basics video right here. An hour and 16 minutes, I go over how to draw support and resistance levels. So go over that. Go over understanding chart patterns and time frames. Go over introduction to indicators. There's another great one. And then finally, go over trend lines and trend confirmation. So all of these technical analysis ones, you'll be a pro after you watch them all. So make sure you go over that. Let's see. Mirza, how does it make sense to long ETH now? Oh, it doesn't make sense to long ETH now. I had a long position, 6x position open before this whole war thing happened. I mean, right now, ETH is kind of in the middle of no man's land, to be honest. Like, it's above its support of 22, but it's below its resistance of 2370. So I would wait until it retests 22 if it does. That's where I'd be longing, not right now. Ab says, is Ukraine war irrelevant at this point? I think so. I think Russia and Ukraine have kind of come to terms at this point. I think it's going to end soon. I think we're going to massive bounce. Junior says, is it a good idea to 3x long hold ETH to 4K right now? You could 3K. I mean, your lick price is going to be pretty low. So if you want, if you want to just take a chance right now, you could. S4, what do you think of Doge? Does it have any chance of reaching $1? Maybe. It's, I would say probably 70 cents. Especially when the Doge ETF gets approved, maybe. What about the DJT stock? No opinion on that, but it'll probably continue higher. Bayo edits. What would you say max liquidation price is for a long, like lowest? I mean, 68K. Bayo edits. What would you say? Let's see. Junior says, what is the best place to save USDT? I would say on a cold storage wallet. So something like Trezor, probably the best. You could do Ledger Nano X as well, but Trezor is probably the best. Bayo yet highest. X says, which are the good levels to long Hype and Fartcoin? Hype $32 for Hype, and then Fartcoin probably, let me double check real quick. Fartcoin 80 cents. If you can long Fartcoin at 80 cents, that would have been the primo spot. Mahedi, I trade ICT concept, good at it, but learned a lot from you. Thank you so much, Mahedi. As for also, if you can start learning trading, what best advice would you give to anyone who's starting out? Start paper trading and learn to manage your emotions. Paper trade to learn how you react whenever you're in a trade, and then slowly start to introduce real money into it. But definitely learn a lot beforehand. Don't just jump into trading with your real money right away. Like, learn how crypto works, learn who to follow, learn how the space operates, how cycles operates, how news trading happens, all that stuff. Learn all that beforehand. Don't just jump in. Harsh says, bro, what do you think will be a new alt for BTC this year before it drops? Do you think it'll be a new alt? A new alt? Not sure what you mean by that. Like a new altcoin? Possible. Motive Sphere, are you thinking of writing a book about BTC? No, I'm not thinking about that. Mahedi, Quant and Tau looks solid play to me. Awesome. Cheetah, BTC to 9395K? Hopefully not. Cass, appreciate, no problem. Yeah, not Luke Belmar, John Luke. But yeah, no problem, guys. Glad you guys are learning a lot. And then last but not least, let's go over upcoming events. So we got Token 2049. If anyone is going to be at Token 2049 in Singapore, or just going to be in Singapore in general, type a 1 in the chat. I want to see if anyone's going to be there, because I'm going to be in Singapore. I may or may not be at Token 2049, but I'll be in Singapore going to the side events. So curious to see if any of you guys are going to be there. If so, maybe we can meet up. But that's going to be October. End of September, beginning of October. Highly, highly recommend this. This is an awesome event. Then also we have the FOMC meeting happening July 30th, guys. FOMC, chances an interest rate cut happens, probably 20%, but it is still a higher likelihood, especially after this war. I know Trump has threatened to fire Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. Don't think he can do that, but you never know. So yeah, that could be something that could help to encourage an interest rate cut. If an interest rate cut happens, crypto's going to send. That's going to turn the money printer on, and everything is just going to send to all-time highs. So we'll have to see what happens, but I do believe an interest rate cut will definitely happen in September. But July, maybe 20%. All right, guys, let's see what questions you guys have. Any other? As far as says, guys, CryptoData studied. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Also, any update on Ton? And just talked about the July FOMC. Let's see. Ton. So yeah, Ton, if it can close the daily above 280, very, very bullish on Ton. The RSI and stock RSI look good, so I do think that everything is looking good so far in terms of longs. So I think everything is playing out accordingly, and I think we could see some bullishness from that. So again, just watch the close on Ton. If it doesn't close here, then yeah, it's probably falling a lot lower. So 250 would be the spot I would long if I'm longing Ton here. A lot of good question, guys. You guys are asking the best questions here. Bro, I'll be closing my long on BTC. What do you think will be realistic target? 115K, or can it go higher this year? Just depends, right? We have the weekly trend line on BTC around 113, 115K. Conservatively, I would say 120K. That'd be my conservative target for BTC. Is small. Your system primarily based on support resistance, or nice strategy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, so my system is based off all those indicators you mentioned. RSI, stock RSI, support resistance, EMAs. Yep. Very simple strategy. Thoughts on Pepe? Mahedi asked. Let's see. Thoughts on Pepe. Let's check it out. Looks like no one's going to be in Singapore. Oh, wait. Smart Research Guide is going to be in Singapore. Okay, I'll meet you there then. I'll meet you there. Pepe US. Let's see what's going on with little Pepe. If Pepe can close above the 9.3 level, very bullish, and then I think it's going to go a lot higher. But again, stock RSI and RSI are looking very good oversold, guys, so I'd be taking some longs right now. I'll probably make some longs in Gem Hunters. Probably make some long calls pretty soon in Gem Hunters, so great to see on that. You think... Oh, yeah, and then as far as other levels, next resistance would be around the 1 level, and then next support would be around 7.6. Aria says, you think BTC 95K in 2 weeks? No. S4. Also, there's rumor that the U.S. always cuts rates last. Most likely. How do you manage to keep FOMO under control? Because I have a strategy in place. So if you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail. So make sure that you always have a strategy in place. If you're FOMOing, make sure it's for a good reason, right? Do you know some alpha? Do you know some inside info? Do you know something that other people don't? Do you know, is there a strong team behind it? Do you know that KOLs are going to keep pushing it? Do you know they're going to have a big catalyst ahead? Do you know that this war is going to stop soon? Like, know why you're FOMOing, right? And if it's just because price is going up, then you got to check yourself and wait until there's always going to be opportunities. So just remind yourself there's always going to be opportunities and never to FOMO in, okay? Harsh, bro, so many people say that you shouldn't use indicators. What's your opinion on that? That you are actively using RSI EMA. Are those people, do they have 7 figs? If they don't, then don't listen to them. Anyone else have any questions? Anyone else have any other questions? Again, people are going to have their own strategy, right? Some people use indicators, some people don't. It just all depends. No one's necessarily right or wrong, but at the end of the day, they can't say don't use indicators. Like, if it works, it works. Just whatever, use whatever works for you. Eswar, also, do you journal your trades physically or digitally? Yeah, physically. Mirza, why would you long Pepe? It's oversold in the 1 day, but almost overbought in the 4 hour. No, so I'm saying if the daily closes above a certain support level, you could potentially long it. So obviously you'd want to wait until the 4 hour and the daily become, get in confluence with one another, have a little pullback, but I'd be looking for longs if it closes above. Balaz, will you do a live on how your strategy parts are calibrated and how do you use it? No, I won't do a live on that, but I went over a lot of that in the TA Academy videos that I was posting for the past 8 weeks. So look at those and you'll see a lot of the strategy that I talk about. So with that, I'll give it another minute if anyone else has any other questions, and then we will end the stream. So again, guys, if you like the stream, please like it. It helps a lot. It helps spread Gem Hunters to the masses. So always appreciate it. And always appreciate you guys watching. And definitely subscribe if you haven't. If you're going to join the Gem Hunters Premium group where you get a lot more calls, meme coin calls, DGen calls, 24/7 concierge service, more live streams, etc., then it's in the description. 1 ETH for a yearly subscription. Eswar says, can I sleep peacefully now? Yes, Eswar, go to sleep. Appreciate you watching. Ismail, what's the time frame you mostly trade on? The daily time frame. Eswar says, also thanks for your TG, so much alpha. Hey, appreciate it, Eswar. I try to give as much info as I can for you guys. Good to see you are appreciating it. Awesome, awesome. Love to see it. So, again, guys, thank you so much for everyone who's watched, who spent their time. I really appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys a lot. I hope you guys have a great Monday, and hope you are staying safe wherever you're at, especially if anyone's near the Middle East. Always be safe there, guys. But, again, like I said, hopefully, knock on wood, that should be the bottom. Let's see what happens. But I will be looking for more dip buying opportunities if they do happen, and I will keep you guys updated in the Gem Hunters free group and the other groups as well in the premium if you are in there. So, thank you guys so much for watching. And for rate cuts, yeah, 20% chance they're going to be cut in July, most likely September. So, awesome. And then, yeah, Mehdi says, do a live session on psychology. May have to do that one time. May have to do that. Good recommendation there. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Talk soon, guys. Have a great day. See ya.